Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Hammer. Today is Wednesday, September 18th, 2024. I, of course, am with Originator Success here with the Daily Mortgage Rate Update, the only place on the web where you get to join me live each and every weekday, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time, broadcasting to you on Facebook and on YouTube. If you're watching on the replay, don't forget to give me a hashtag replay in the comments. Even if you're watching on YouTube, make sure that you do that. It does make a difference. I appreciate it. If you're watching on Facebook, of course, do that as well. Whether you're here live or on the replay, don't forget to smash that like button, tag an LO friend, share this post in a group. If you're on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe, click that thumbs up notification bell thing too. All right, let's go ahead and remember you can get my free email, lock advice to your inbox each and every weekday morning, www.ratelockadvice.com. You can also sign up for our text alerts, www.ratetextalerts.com. Last but not least, if you'd like to be reminded that I'm going live, you can sign up for a text alert and we'll text you when I'm going live. It's absolutely free, hmmr.io/reminder. And although I love talking to you about rates and pricing each and every weekday morning, remember that what we do here at Originator Success is helping you get loans from Google and social media. And in order to do that, you got to go check us out at originatorssuccess.com, find out how we can help you to get those loans. So, all right, my friends, if you're here this morning, say good morning. We got Mallory Fodiatis, Kyle Mazikas here, Deb Dickinson, Allison Dent. Good morning, Kenny Rivard, Dan Phillips. Great to have you here. Who else is here this morning? Say good morning. I have had a busy, productive day already. This screw I've already had surgery this morning, been in and out of the operating room, had the screw removed from my ankle. In fact, let's have a little bit of fun while I'm waiting for a few of you to get on. We're going to talk Fed today, of course. Big day, Fed day. Let's see here. I've got to go to leg. Let's see. So this, you can see it real clear here. Here you go. Let's do a side by side. So this giant screw right here is this screw right there. Actually, let me turn this down so it's not quite so bright. There you go. Is that screw right there that lines up? I had that taken back out of my leg this morning. No anesthesia so that I could be here to help you. Actually, I had local anesthesia, no general, didn't go under, no twilight, no anything. They were kind of freaked out that I wanted to do that. But that's kind of my gig. So I was awake while they took this thing out, while he cut me open and they took this puppy out. So, and I asked him if I could keep it. My daughter asked me to see it. So my kids wanted to see it. So yeah, I said, all right, let's see it. Let's hold on to it. And you could actually see that thing. There it is, about the right size. It's a big old screw, and this one was never loose. This one was always tight. I never had a screw loose. So anyway, but the good news is I am back here and to be with you guys and get everything done. Good morning, Debbie. Ron Siegel. Good morning, Allison Foy, Deb Dickinson. Ron says today is National Cheeseburger Day. Look, I still have my hospital thing on. I didn't pull it off yet. There we go. Okay. Good morning, Angela Walters, Casey Roberts. Great to see you. So let's talk Fed, y'all. As far as how things are going this morning, let's do a quick recap. Yesterday was very similar to what we had said the day before. There was a whole lot of nothing going on. When we take a look here at the mortgage-backed securities for the day. It was a very quiet day. We had this little blip right here early morning yesterday, which was before the video we talked about. That was retail sales. After that, very quiet. This morning, we're starting out a little bit low on the day. Lost a little bit of ground in overnight trading. We're down 6 basis points. The 10-year Treasury, 3.68. It's a little bit higher than what we have been at, just for kind of today. And that's mainly just some overnight stuff. Shouldn't be a big deal. Angela says it's super glitchy. Is that just her? Is that on her end or my end? Anyone else having glitches? Good morning, James Mahan, Casey Roberts. Anyone else having glitches? Let me know in the comments if you guys are having glitches or if it's clear. Let me turn my brightness back up too. Oh boy, that's a little too bright. There we go. Look at these raccoon eyes being on the motorcycle. Anyway, taking a look at what's going on here, we'll probably see mortgage-backed securities improve a little bit as we head into the Fed meeting today. So, by the way, y'all, I am getting fiber optic internet towards the end of this week. Next week, I should be flying. It should be amazing video. So today we got the Fed, right? We've got the Fed meeting right now, expectations of a Fed rate cut. If we take a look at this, What do they currently stand at? Right now, it is a 60% expectation of a half a point cut, 40% expectation of a quarter point cut. But here's the deal. There's too much emphasis being made on this rate cut. Okay. One thing I want to do is I want to go over. I saw people on Facebook. Let's talk a little bit about having these conversations, right? So, like, first of all, posts like this don't help you get business. And I'm not poking at Travis. This is not meant to pick on Travis. This is just meant to kind of really remind you all. This is the stuff that I see on Facebook. Slightly hot take. Even with the Fed rate decrease, mortgage rates could actually rise a bit tomorrow. I know the thinking behind this, right? Historically, when the Fed increases rates, the idea is that fights inflation. So bonds would react positively to that, et cetera, et cetera. When the Fed cuts rates, that's, inflationary. It's to spur the economy, and it's not good for bonds long term but let's put this in perspective. Okay. You can't go by these old cliches anymore, right? That's the case in scenarios, but not the case right now. When the Fed cuts rates tomorrow, we're not worried about it sparking inflation. The Fed has already shown that they've kept rates higher for longer, and they fought inflation, and inflation is continuing to drop down. So here's a hot take for you. Even if the Fed does cut rates today, where some would say, well, that could lead mortgage rates to go up, it's not going to. The other argument that comes up a lot right now is, what if the Fed doesn't cut with the half a point? What if they only cut at a quarter? And here again, guys, this stuff is not really, you can't get sucked into this, right? So the pricing for a 50 basis point cut, the Fed fund rate, is already reflecting in mortgage rates. Once announced, the current mortgage rates may not move lower. If you like your rate today, lock. There is no case at all that I would have seen anybody locking yesterday or today before the Fed meeting. Absolutely, positively not. There was no reason to lock. And yet I saw post after post on Facebook of originators that were talking about locking yesterday. Why would you do that? This is one of the rare opportunities that we have where we get to float into the data and react to it. So let's recap. The Fed is going to come out at 2 p.m. Eastern time with their policy statement today. Okay. And in that policy statement, we know we're going to see a rate cut. It's almost a guarantee at this point. The question is, are they going to start out big and hit with a half a point cut and then maybe go quarter, or are they going to go half a point, quarter? We don't know, right? The only thing that could hurt us is if the Fed gave the impression that they were going to do what the ECB did, right? Fraser, don't you make fun of my internet. Okay. Exactly. That's Ron Siegel's got it totally dialed in. He said, does the consumer care about how the sausage is made? No. Not only that, you should be making posts that generate business. I know that everybody wants to share knowledge and educate. Hell, this is what I do every day with you guys, right? We talk about this stuff. I share knowledge with you. But when it comes to writing loans, you're writing loans. Don't work against yourself when it comes to writing loans. This is one of the things that I did yesterday just to have some fun and show our Ignite group. Many of you don't know, we actually have a mastermind group to help you get business with social media. It's called Ignite. And I jumped on that call yesterday. Normally, Austin runs those calls without me. I jumped on that call yesterday and I posted this in particular. I'm waiting for this to come up. And what I posted here was a quick post with a fun meme, right? Let me go Rambo on your mortgage rate. And it was the dog with the little Rambo suit, and he looked cute. The Fed is cutting rates. Mortgage rates may fall too, but it may be short-lived. Text me, message me, or call me. Let's check. This is the kind of stuff you want to be putting out there. Don't get hung up in teaching people what's going on here, right? Go get yourself some business with this stuff. David said it's a very, very bad. Someone else said glitchy, but other people said not glitchy. All right, well, I'm going to run with it. Hopefully it gets better. So anyway, as we go through this today, number one, the Fed is going to release their policy statement. How much are they going to cut? If they cut 50 basis points, will we see a positive reaction? Yes. If they cut 25 basis points, will we see a positive reaction? Yes. We may see more of a reaction if they go bigger. We are not going to see a disappointed reaction if they only cut a quarter. The probabilities are only 60-40 right now. It's not like the markets are fully pricing in a 50 basis point cut and would be surprised if the Fed only cut by a quarter. Also, if we go back and look at mortgage-backed securities, we take a look last week on Thursday, they ended at 101.42. On Friday, when Nick Timiraos released the first article and some of the tweets about the Fed going bigger with their rate cut that started the pivot, we were at 101.53. Look at that. It's 11 basis points. On Monday, it was 101.61, less than 20 basis points. Today, we're at 101.47. Markets are exactly the same. They're within a few basis points of where we were before the idea that the Fed was going to cut 50 basis points. All right. So when you say I'm cutting hard, does that mean the internet is bad? That I'm glitching hard? I don't know what you guys mean, but anyway, so the point being, none of this is going to make a difference on that. What's going to affect rates moving forward is, what does the dot plot come in? Okay, that's a big one. What is the dot plot coming in at? And the second thing is, what is Powell going to say at his press conference? Is he open the door? Now, the only thing that could hurt us today, thanks, Mike. The only thing that could hurt us today is if they were to cut and Powell said, but we may pause the next meeting to see. They're not expected to do that. When you look at what the Fed futures are based on, we believe this is the beginning of a Fed cut cycle. Okay. And thank you, Mark Frederick David, you can see that, no problem. Kyung, thank you. So when we look at this, y'all, that would be the only thing that could really make for a bad day for mortgage rates today. And all the people that are locking yesterday, it's dumb. You don't lock going into a Fed meeting unless you are absolutely concerned that the meeting is going to be like terribly bad and we were going to see rates go up a year ago, 18 months ago. You don't do that now. There's no reason at all anybody should be locking anything right now. So I'm going to throw it up here. We're cautiously floating anything near term. Even if we have a negative reaction today, I'd float through it because we will see rates recover within a week. But that's even if. Only thing I would consider locking today are loans closing in the next 15 days. Anything closing by the end of September. If we have a negative reaction to the policy statement, I would, and it's really strong, then we would lock. That's the only scenario I would consider locking in right now. If we were to flip mortgage-backed securities on, and you would see this 10-year treasury push up to like 3.75, and you see the, bonds drop to like 101.20, when we lose 25 basis points, then I'm locking loans closing in the next 2 weeks because of the volatility. But even that, guys, we're going to see rates continue to improve. The idea here is that the Fed is going to keep cutting rates heading into the end of the year. Good morning, sunshine. So anyway, that is the that's kind of my gist for you today and what we're looking at. Make sure, if you're not signed up for the text alerts, sign up for them. We'll be sending out a text alert after the Fed releases their policy statement. We will be sending out a text alert after right around 3:15 is when Powell tends to really get the markets at their kind of most ruffled. He starts his press conference at 2:30 p.m., but around 3:15 p.m. Eastern time is when you generally see the biggest reaction. And then, of course, we'll be sending an end of day text. So Julie said, hopefully when I replay, I can hear what Hammer is saying. Weird. I explained my position to a customer yesterday, told him it was his decision. He chose to float, which almost never happens with uneducated buyers. Yeah, well, that's because they think that the Fed's going to cut. And they're right, by the way. Everybody keeps saying, well, the Fed rate cut's already been baked in. It has been baked in, but they're looking for what comes next. This is the beginning of a cutting cycle. This is not a single Fed rate cut. And that's what so many originators are missing the point on. This is not one at bat. They are going to be up and continue. We know the labor, if they cut now, it's not going to help the labor market for a couple of months, right? So that reaction we're going to see. Alan said, I'm in the middle of the Olympic Peninsula and have better internet today than Hammer. Well, Ron, locking right now into this cut is something the online services would do. Those who study their craft are listening. Thanks, Ron. And you, dude, you study your craft as much or more than anybody else. And so you don't even need my advice. But I'm sure, does anyone know what Barry is saying? I didn't look to see what Barry has said. I'm sure Barry is saying to float. There'd be no reason I would anticipate Barry locking into this meeting ever. Also like, what is Dan Rawich? I would think all of these people are floating. There's no reason to lock on this. So anyway, we're 15 minutes in. I think I've kind of hammered this home. For those of you that are joining me late, here's the screw that I had taken out of my foot this morning. I'm just bragging a little. Had surgery, still here with y'all this morning. Had my surgery at 7:30 so that I could have it done. The anesthesiologists were not happy that I was not going under anesthesia. They were like, why would you do that? And I said, I don't want anesthesia. I don't need anesthesia, people. So anyway, yeah, Mike said, Barry said to float. Thanks, Mike. I would figure, you're right. There'd be no reason that Barry would be saying to lock right now. It wouldn't make any sense to me. So I don't know why some of the LOs are going rogue and think that locking is like so important to do ahead of this meeting. That's a fear reaction. That's a panic response. You definitely don't want to do that. Again, anything can happen, but for us to see a negative reaction, even it would be very knee jerk. Let's see where the day settles. Let's see the direction we go. We're going to see bonds go to another level. This is going to take mortgage rates to a better point. It's going to move us in that direction. We're firmly in that cycle. Dude, I know, Mike, right? Mike said, I have a drill and an impact driver. Well, you need a razor blade too, because you had to slice the skin open. I haven't taken a look to see what the stitches look like yet, but I will in a minute. So, all right, y'all. Well, thank you again for joining me. Appreciate y'all having me. We'll be able to talk tomorrow and see if I was totally wrong, kind of wrong, totally right, kind of right. We'll see tomorrow. We'll talk about how this all played out, but I'll be paying attention at 2 p.m. Eastern time, sending out our text alerts, of course, to protect your pipeline. 2:30, we'll be looking at that Fed, conference. The dot plot projections are going to be important. So we got those three elements. Yeah, well, Ron, I don't think he's going to be any different today about floating than he would have been yesterday. So for sure, for shizzle. So, all right, my friends, anyone have any questions before I wrap it up? Sometimes, maybe I've kind of been beating the point home here. I think I answered quite a bit of what was going on, but I'm a little out of sorts because I grabbed breakfast on the way home from the hospital. So, all right, if anyone has any questions, let me know. Otherwise, again, size doesn't matter, guys. I know that this is going to make a lot of you feel better. Size doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what size the cut is going to be today. As long as they cut, things are going to move in the right direction, and they're definitely going to cut. What comes next is the big question. If they cut with a quarter, markets will be looking for a 0.5 point cut in November. If they cut with a 0.5 point, then it becomes a question of what are they looking for. So remember what I said, size doesn't matter. Take care, everybody. Have a fantastic day. I can't wait to see what happened and compare notes tomorrow. Make sure you join me then. Bye-bye, everybody.